Since we're at the beginning of the year, I've been making my plans for 2024. And while I've been making these plans, I've been thinking about how I can set goals that are more realistic and attainable. Now, every single year, I've gone through a very similar cycle when it's come to making goals and setting those goals and then keeping those goals. And this cycle usually happens right at the end of December, right after the holidays, right after Christmas, after I've been eating junk food nonstop. And as I start to think about the new year, I think about all the things that I'm going to change. I get excited that I'm going to become a completely new person, that once that clock hits 12 a.m., Alex no longer exists. I am now Alex 2.0, and I'm going to be more productive than I ever have. I'm going to get more work done than I ever have. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to sleep better. I'm going to be a more loving person. It's just going to change, and all those bad habits are going to be washed away because I'm so dedicated and so committed to these New Year's resolutions that there's no way I'm going to fail. And then January comes along and I'm doing really good on them, and February happens and I'm still doing all right, and then March comes along and I completely forget what those goals were. I forget where I wrote them. I forget what they were. They're all scattered, they're lost, and I don't know where to find them. I just continue life in my old ways without improving much. And the reason I think this doesn't work is because we are stretching ourselves too thin with these goals that we are making. So a tip that I want to give is the concept that less is more. Now, when we're talking about New Year's resolutions, we're talking about goals. These are good things that we're trying to do and accomplish, and it is great that we want to change all these things about us, but we only have so much capacity that we can handle at a given time. There's a really interesting study, I believe it's from George A. Miller, and he wrote an article back in 1956 that was called The Magical Number 7 Plus or Minus 2. It's the research he did about how we have a limited capacity as humans. Now, it's a very in-depth article that I'm not going to pretend like I fully understand, but it is really interesting when we're thinking about this concept of goals and information that we can retain. Another really fascinating study is from Barry Schwartz, who wrote the book The Paradox of Choice. His whole book is about analysis paralysis, when we have so many options to choose from that we struggle to make a choice and often don't make a choice at all. And analysis paralysis is also really interesting when we're thinking about making and setting goals. When we set a goal for ourselves, we are giving ourselves an option to accomplish something. And when we set more of those things, we are giving ourselves more options, meaning the more difficult it is going to be to decide which of them to go after and when. And then take Barry Schwartz's theory and George Miller's theory, and you combine them together, and what you get is an individual with a limited capacity who's not able to make a decision. And so the tip that I would give when you're making a New Year's resolution is to really limit the amount of resolutions you're setting for yourself. It doesn't mean that you can't set more goals, but when you're thinking about your yearly goals, the longer that time passes, the less we're going to think about it. And that's just natural to who we are as humans. Even if I write a sticky note on my computer or I have a reminder in my phone, I'm not going to be thinking about it every single day. And the passion that I feel at the beginning of the year about improving myself is going to wear off at some point. I need to be able to have ways to remind myself and not become overwhelmed and still feel passionate and excited about going after that thing. There's something obviously not working with the goals that we're setting because we're not actually following through with these goals and we're not accomplishing them. So something needs to change, and I think that's because there's just too many goals that we have. There's too many things we're trying to accomplish at one time that we don't really have a focus. We don't really have a list of priorities that we really want to go after and attack every single day. And when we're not doing something every single day, it's not going to form a habit, and our old habits are going to remain the same. So health is my overall goal for 2024. But underneath that, I'm setting sub goals, but instead of setting them annually, I'm setting them up quarterly, and I'm going to be able to review those goals more often. And if that was the only goal that I set this year, I probably wouldn't be very successful because it's pretty vague. There's not a lot of actionable steps to that. So I'm setting quarterly goals, monthly goals, daily goals that I think will help achieve that overall goal. So I've set 3 goals that I want to be especially accountable for in the first quarter of this year. When I get to the next quarter, I'll revisit them. I might add some, I might take some away, I might keep it the same. But all I know is they are going to help support the main goal, which is my health. There is a ripple effect of consequences that are going to happen no matter what, whether it's for good or whether it's for bad. So remember that less is more when setting your New Year's resolutions in 2024. Another thing I'll quickly add is how important it is to have an accountability partner when setting goals. So if you don't have an accountability partner, please comment below what your goal is in 2024. I'll hope to be accountable to you, and I hope other people can be accountable as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys have a wonderful start to your new year and have a great day. Cheers.